Hey everyone, this is Walk-ins Welcome. I'm your host, Ivy Dai, chef and food writer. Today's episode is sponsored by Culture OC, the premier arts and cultures resource right here in Orange County at cultureoc.org. Today on the show we have Viet Nguyen, chef founder and then co-CEO of Key Concepts.
Thanks
welcome,
for having me. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I haven't done one for a while, actually.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah. You were just telling me it was a really intense week this week and
Last week, Memorial
week.
Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, just long weekends. Every time that we have a national holiday that lands on a Monday, obviously by Thursday night, it's already popping. Friday, that's when it get really busy, and it just carry through the whole entire weekend.
The title is so nice. Oh yeah, actually, you've brought some of the pastries and coffee from Key Coffee House.
Yeah, Key Coffee
Can you
House.
just tell me a little bit about what we have here?
Oh yeah, so we bake all of these in house. So the pate shot is like very Vietnamese thing. So it's puff pastry. There's meat inside. Usually pork or chicken. We do beef.
Okay.
And then all of the
is it gali jiao, like a curry pie, puff pie?
Kind of like that, but this is like more savory because obviously we have the French influence, so it's like pate, kind of rillette kind of direction into it.
Delicious,
and so it's kind of inside a puff pastry. So that's what we do. It's becoming a Vietnamese thing now, and just like the cookies are our house cookies, and we just rotate them.
Yeah. The corn, And is that your go-to drink that you have?
It's my go-to drink. It's organic coconut juice and just 2 grams of matcha.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, sometimes do 4. I think the whole cup was 4 grams, but I only do 2 grams. I think it's a little bit too much for me.
Because it's a little too
jittery.
And my matcha latte.
But I love just straight coconut water and just matcha, or just water and then just matcha. I like it, to taste the matcha a little bit more, or like just straight latte.
I should try that because I always go with the matcha latte when I go there. So
that's good. That's good too. Just straight. I don't like to mix a lot of like sweeteners and creams and all that. It's just really take away from the taste of matcha.
Yeah, so it's interesting because you're a restaurant chain, but then your concept changes, right? I mean, you have 8 different brands, right?
8 different brands. We're actually technically we have about 12. But the other 4 are more event focused or more directly toward a certain aspect of our business. But like 8 active brands. And then we have a few growth brands, and the reason why that we're not scaling just one single brand just yet is for us because when we approach it as a hospitality company. That means that you're starting out with restaurants, but in order for you to really staying long term in this business, we feel like there's a lot of other verticals that we're very interested in. I came from a finance and IT background, so in the very beginning, actually, we did not want to start restaurants. It's a very long story, but because of there's a lot of roadblocks, and we feel like maybe taking a restaurant route was going to be a lot better. So that's why we took the restaurant route. But because we want to stay in Orange County, you can only do so much of one brand within a very small area.
Yes.
But since we want to centralize all of our powers and talent and focus, we have to have several different brands. Well, we do know that we're going to take 1 to 2 brands to go national for sure.
Okay.
The first 10 years of our focus was to create this whole entire infrastructures. We wanted to get to closer to the goal was 1,000 employees or 100 million. So either or whichever one's first. So once we get to that point,
usually it's like 500, then you're a big brand, right?
But we found that nowadays is actually because of how the industry is going. We felt at one point 50 million was enough, but we felt we need to do more. So at that point, we felt that we're having enough draw and power and I would say infrastructure for us to kind of go national. And I think we are. We're very excited to announce a few things in the next couple of years, but we're not there yet. Very,
amazing.
Very soon.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Key Concepts is a really big modern Vietnamese fusion restaurant chain here in Orange County, and so some of the concepts are Peruvian Chinese restaurant Vox Kitchen, which you're having two locations now, and then you're having
Yeah,
a
and then
third
two more coming.
Oh, two more. One in Lubin and Niguel.
One is
right?
going to
And
be in Aliso Viejo, so it's
Oh,
right
Aliso Viejo.
below right Spectrum, and
Okay.
then the other one is actually going to be the first one that we're doing in LA, which is in Culver City.
Oh, amazing! I
Yeah.
didn't know about that.
And as we progress,
Yeah.
and so usually for each of the brands, we found that by version 3, or version 4 of iteration, that's where you really lock into your understanding of exactly what you want to do. Sometimes you actually even split those into two, which is, let's just say, food service or fast casual.
Yeah.
But other than that, we have iterations and versions.
Yeah.
Just same as, if you buy like the first iPhone, it's never going to be the best. But if you want to be there and to kind of capture that as an enthusiast, you could.
Yeah.
But by version 2 or 3, that's when you really feel the power of the iPhone coming out. Same with us.
I guess that makes sense because I used to go. Vox Kitchen is one of my favorite restaurants to bring people to and just to eat. But the first one is the one I always go to in Fountain Valley, and then I did try Costa Mesa recently. So
Very
it was
interesting.
a different experience. Yeah, there was a
It's
lot
a-
of
what a
garlic on
big
my
difference.
garlic Parmesan wings. I was like,
Yeah.
so much
And then
garlic.
Yeah, and there's just a
Parmesan,
bunch of other
yeah.
things too, where
Yeah.
we're doing Type 47, which is full liquor license for the first time. There's a whole entire separate bar experience. Cocktails are completely revamped. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The menus are a lot more Peruvian, so it's pushing more because
Oh, the ceviche. Yeah, I saw there's a ceviche.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's in Peruvian cuisine. There's chifa, which is more Chinese, and there's more Japanese focus too. So we're actually pushing a little bit more on the Japanese this time.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
interesting.
list us of some of your the other concepts? In no particular order, because I don't know if you have like a
Oh
favorite,
yeah,
like a
soup
favorite
noodle bar.
child.
Yeah, soup
Yeah.
noodle bar was our first, and
Yeah.
then actually in the between we even have like Pango. So it's the Asian tech area, and we closed.
Yeah.
And then Vox Kitchen, and then we have Jam Dining, which is also now
Oh, Gem
closed.
Dining. Yeah.
Jam Dining
Okay.
was on for a while, but then when we first opened, obviously COVID hit. So
Okay.
that's a long story there, but we're still actively looking for a space. So we're really passionate about Jam Dining.
Yeah.
And then right after that, obviously because of COVID, we have to go into a bunch of other things.
I remember that.
Yeah, like Neve Cafe was, out of desperation because we didn't want to close the space. So we have the space of Gem, and we can only allow to open outdoors. So obviously Neve was.
Oh, I didn't know that. That
Yeah,
was the pivot.
it was a pivot. It was a desperation call because other than that, we can't do Jam Dining. It's a fine dining restaurant.
Okay. Yeah.
And then obviously we do all of the other things like the alley, boba at one point. We did Dave's Hot Chicken at one point, all of that. But right now we do also have like Kin Craft Ramen, Qua Contemporary Cuisines. We have Roll Hand Roll Bar. And
Yeah.
we have Key Coffee House. And just a few other brands that we do along the way, Key Supper Club and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Oh, you
it's
did. You were saying
interesting.
Dave's Hot Chicken, or like what?
Yeah, Dave's Hot Chicken. The first one in OC was us. Yeah, we sold that one. So
I
we
didn't
did
know
it, and then we sold it.
this. This is
So,
behind the-
like
yeah.
I said, a lot of people think that we're had this whole grand plan and master plan, and what it's nope. It's 2020 because everybody got shut down. We're sucked into this massive whirlwind of problems, and so we had to stay alive. Yeah. So
'Cause
for
when-
the 5 years, we had to stay alive.
No, because when I first went to Vox Kitchen, it was right after. It was they were about to lift, or I think the thing is that people were still wearing masks, but not in Orange County, and that's
Some parts, some parts, but
yeah.
within our company, obviously we still have to require masks just because of regulations and all that. But I'm just saying, the approach for us for the last 5 to 10 years it wasn't a big master plan of anything,
Yeah.
and it wasn't because we don't want to grow. It
Yeah.
was just right on the very peak of what we wanted to do was COVID.
Yeah.
And then so 5 years of surviving, and because of surviving, we had to have a bunch of pivots. But because of that, we also found this hub strategy with more services. It's kind of like Netflix adding more movies, so that people don't pivot to, let's just say, HBO Max or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's for us at that point was pivot, survival,
Yeah.
and then figuring out this hub strategy, and then survive again. And so I think we went from, before COVID, we were doing only like $8 to $10 million in revenue, and
Okay.
you know, next year we're approaching 100.
Oh
So
my goodness.
we're
yeah.
almost like 10x our revenue just by pivoting. But
Yeah.
I think at one point it kind of had to stop. You know, like you can only try your luck for so far, and you can only test things for so far.
Yeah.
The next question for us is now, we call it catching lightning in a bottle, where like we have like this crazy concept and we capture it.
Yeah.
But the next step would be, how do you scale it?
Yeah. And how do you scale it?
How do you scale it nationally? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the next 10 years for us.
Okay. Yeah, because earlier we had Wing Lam of Wahoo's, who has almost 50 different locations, and then Sumter Pendergrass of Cy Cardonas, who has about this like 8 locations, 9 locations, and they were talking about that briefly, about how do you go to then now that next level without compromising, you know, integrity, quality, like,
Correct.
you know, should you franchise? Like, there's, you know, a lot of considerations, right?
Lots of considerations.
Yeah, and then like you're saying, you know, their Sumter sidecar, they're now expanding to other states. Like they opened one in Utah, first out of state one. But then the thing is they had that one concept and they've moved. But then you're coming up with different concepts all the time to be centered in Orange County. So,
Yeah, but that's like we said too. That was only for our very first, I would say, iteration, our first approach.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the approach for forever, and I don't think that's going to be. That cannot last.
Yeah.
You cannot just do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to become too complex.
Yeah.
Unless each of the brand itself is its own company, right?
Yeah.
And then it has its own CEOs and like
Got
growth
it.
brand and all that.
Yeah.
And then we're just becoming, you know, like a whole holding company, and then you just invest.
Yeah.
So there's a very, very different mindset there.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we do believe that there's a couple of brands within our portfolio we feel like could add a lot of value for the American consumers.
Yeah.
And so we have to also now ask the next question is, but if we're going to be building out this whole entire rolling plan for the next decade or so,
Yeah.
that means that you're not going to be serving a bunch of millennials. You know, you're going to be serving Gen Zs and Gen A. Now, what
Yes.
would they need?
Yeah.
How would they approach a brand moving forward? Is it going to be full service? Is it going to be fast casual? Is it going to be franchise? Is it going to be store owned? Lots and lots of questions. But I think we're coming very close to what we believe would be a very exciting 10 years. And, you know, I cannot wait to kind of share with everybody. But it's very
Yeah.
exciting.
So I mean, you know, it's still in the works, but what can you tell us? Will it be expansion on some of the key brands? Is it going to be whole new concept? Is it like you're saying a few brands to go national, or like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for sure right now we have identified out of all of the brands, we believe that Peruvian cuisines has become number one in the world for quite a while now. Like, I mean,
Interesting.
they're top. Technically, if you look at the past 3 to 5 years of top restaurant in the world, Peruvian cuisine has been on the top. And you know,
That's
last year was
fascinating.
number one.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of people don't know that, you know, Nobu, you know, the Japanese
Yeah.
restaurant, it's actually Peruvian inspired,
Oh.
right? So it's a Nikkei cuisine.
Amazing.
So it's a branch of Peruvian. And then obviously for chifas, we don't have really a chifa arms on it.
Yeah.
But even with that, you don't have a really strong food service or fast casual brand that is carry Peruvian to the rest of the world. And so South American cuisine has been doing really well in America,
Yeah.
especially like Mexican cuisines and
Yeah.
you know, Argentinian. But I do feel like there's a huge opportunity for us to kind of take Peruvian to the rest of the country. And so to us, we feel like Vox has been one of the driving force,
Yeah.
and that's why we're having full iteration, and we've been partnering with some of the best hospitality group in the world right now currently
Yeah.
to kind of revamp the brand. And I think you're going to be very surprised about we launched in our fourth and fifth generation of that.
Oh, fourth and fifth generation.
The fourth generation will be in Culver City. The fifth generation is a completely brand new approach and concept, and I think both of them can really go national. I think a few hundred restaurants
Yeah.
will be ideal.
That's amazing. Then it's like exponential growth, you know. Then it's
It is an exponential growth.
Then you can have
correct.
like 100 locations.
But you have to kind of
Yeah.
have a proof of concept first, and
Yeah.
you know, as we kind of move forward, and you can see the first and the second Vox is already a huge difference. But the most interesting thing that most people don't know is both of those restaurants are actually not what we built. Those are restaurants that we actually bought from other restaurant, and so what you have is what you have.
Yeah.
We couldn't really fix up that much.
Got it.
So only the third and the fourth are the one that we have the third and the fourth generation of what we believe would be the next generation of Vox, which is very, very exciting.
Yes, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got the opportunity to dine at Qua recently, which is the latest
Mhm.
restaurant, but I think that has also been in the works for a few years.
Yeah.
Right, and
been in
then
the work for a few years.
yeah, and then there's also the R&D kitchen that's there now, right? Is that right?
So we use it as our R&D hub right now. So we do all of our R&D in the back there.
Yeah.
But we also have like a prep kitchen in the back of Kin Craft Ramen.
Okay.
And we also use, kind of like that triad of
Yes, if people
restaurants.
don't know, in Fountain Valley, there's the
Same plaza,
Alberts.
yeah.
It's Alberts. Is it Albertson?
Albertson Plaza, yeah.
Yeah, Albertson Plaza. Okay, there's Brodar's. It's like the only
Brodar,
restaurant
yeah. Brodar's in there.
that is not part of the family. But there's Qua that just opened. There's Vox Kitchen. There's the Roll and Kin Craft Ramen and Imi.
Inai restaurant.
Inai, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Japanese Italian restaurant.
So is that 5?
5 of those restaurants in there, and we're doing all of the research, and we're pushing a lot of research out of
Yeah.
those
So
kitchens.
how is it? Because like what always happens with fusion food is that you lose that original flavor, or you're just kind of so bent on finding that new flavor that you lose like the authenticity. And so how is it that you guys kind of strike that balance?
Yeah, because it's essentially we never really sat around and think, oh my God, we have this crazy, idea, or we have this, killer recipe that we have to open a restaurant around it. That was never actually the intention. So I think the most important thing for us, the philosophy for Key Concept in general, was what is the original intention for you to do things. And so for us, it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
So we're very strong on storytelling.
Yeah.
And the idea for each of these restaurants was existing, or it was created based off of a story that really triggered and really inspired me that I have to tell this kind of story. So let's just say that a Japanese Italian in the very beginning was because I keep going back to Vietnam, which is obviously where I came from.
Yeah.
And having met with the largest Japanese Italian restaurant chain in Vietnam. And when I went there, they only had the first one. I had an opportunity to kind of meet with them and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And there were Japanese people that come from Japan to go to Vietnam, bring over Japanese Italian, and I asked them how did they even come up with that, and they say that after obviously World War II, there's a lot of European settlers and engineers, and they're going to Japan, and they bring a lot of culture with them, especially Italian food, and Italian food just kind of exploded in Japan. And so he actually learned how to make pizza, brought his knowledge with him to Vietnam, and became one of the largest chain now in Japanese Italian. And so through that story, and my story to tell is I'm Vietnamese, I live there.
Yeah.
And not that Vietnamese people would eat pho all the time. That's not how it goes. It's that we actually eat at all these restaurants. And I was so inspired by the fact that, like culture just so colliding. Like it's just left and right. And I wanted to tell the story of Japanese Italian food that is colliding with Vietnamese flavor too. And at that time, there was nobody doing that in the U.S.
Of course not. Yeah, widely.
And so
created.
I actually pitched that idea to a couple of chefs. And like, hey, I think you need to do this.
Yeah.
And I found a couple that actually do it really well, but they do it at the States. And so once I have the opportunity to get that restaurant, I knew immediately, that I have to tell that story because it's like it's stuck in my head, and I cannot get it out.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things of like how we usually come up with things. It's not that we force it down people's throat, but more about this is what really inspired me. Like, I cannot sleep. I just keep thinking about this, and I need to tell the story somehow, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So it's something that has already existed as a phenomenon, overseas or elsewhere, but it's just like nobody here in Orange County like knows about it. And, like,
correct.
Yeah.
And there's a word about copying, right? So, and I hear this a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, well, Key Concepts, they're copying other people, and I want to reframe that in a sense where it's not copying really. It's for me, it's inspiring. That's your inspiration. Kind of like if you ever heard of the Michelangelo effect, in the the Renaissance. most people don't know that, one single family, the Medici family, they inspire a lot of artists that come together. And so like Michelangelo was competing with, Leonardo da Vinci. And they keep competing back and forth. And because of their competitions and a bunch of other artists that compete and they take each other's ideas and keep making it better, that's how we have today. I mean, I don't think Boeing was the first company in the world that created an airplane, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about, like Microsoft was not the first OS, right? So, obviously they learned from Macintosh.
Yeah.
And so if you really think about it, we have to agree to the fact that what is your inspiration, what is your original intention, and how do you execute it? And once you get all three right, and only when you get all three correctly, that you don't lose your way and you don't, you go all over the place.
That's interesting. Yeah. And you were talking about you had your finance and IT background.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a story that you had come to the teenager with a few $100s in your pocket, originally to work in the industry and somehow shifted to restaurants. But I mean, can you tell that story? But then,
Very
also
short.
Yeah, really short. Yeah.
Really short. Okay.
Yeah.
So I came here.
Okay.
I wanted to study very quickly and go back to Vietnam.
Okay.
I actually, and this is also, I've heard this a lot, where people are confused about my story, where sometimes I say that I come from money, and then sometimes I say that I only have $300. Okay, so both are true.
Okay.
Right? So I came from a very wealthy family. I was born into a very wealthy family.
Okay.
How wealthy? Up to a point where when I go to school, at that time everybody was either riding a bike or walk to school. I had a personal chauffeur with a car.
Okay.
So that's sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then, bam, something happened within the family, and I start to see the decline in all of that. And then also there's a bunch of other things, and I just decided to kind of go out there and explore things for myself. But they had the money to kind of send me, which is important. It was good.
Got it.
But during the time...
So in a plane, not by boat. Yeah.
In a plane. And I was, life was good until when I came here, and then things obviously happened again, and there's a series of events that led to, and then 2008 was the worst of it all. And when I noticed that I don't think the lifestyle that I was in was ever going to happen again.
Got it.
And so I found out that, technically, yes, there was no more, right? So I decided to just not come back and feel okay, I think it is a good time for me to assume that I am on my own.
Yeah.
And that's when, things start to kind of, when you never have to worry about money, and then bam, everything that you do, you have to kind of worry about money, and you have to kind of worry about how you're going to pay for the next bill.
Yeah.
That really was a wake-up point for me. But then, so out of nowhere, now I become more of a, okay, well, I'm on my own and do all of that. So during that time, I dropped out of college just because, college at that point was going to burn $60,000 to $80,000 a year, something like that, plus other things. So I just started working and then, found a way to kind of make money. And most of the time is I'm doing things on the side. I always studying about IT and finance, but I also always fall back to restaurant just because it's so much easier for you to go back to restaurant and just kind of work a nice shift or whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, during that time was the hardest time of my life, of 2008 to 2012 and 13. And so during that time, it got to a point where I only have a few hundred dollars in my back pocket. And I felt like, life got to change, and I didn't know what to do next. So going from San Fernando to LA, and then I found a couple of friends in Orange County that were willing to take me in, knock on their door, and they have a little room that they granted to me, and and then I start to get back on my feet at that time. But at the lowest point, obviously $300 is the most I ever had in my bank account. And then from there, I start to notice that if I'm already always fall back to restaurants, and all of my IT and finance background, always working for hospitality, might as well just be a chef or do something like that. And so I went to Le Cordon Bleu, take some foundation classes.
I went to
in
Cordon
Pasadena.
Bleu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I purposely only go there for the foundation classes because I
Yeah.
knew that I couldn't afford the whole entire program.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still paying mine off. Yeah, my
Yeah,
degree
yeah.
off,
So I only took the foundation and then drop again. Worked for chef Jimmy Wang, and he is the culinary director right now. I'm sorry, Panda Express.
Oh, we were just talking about Panda Express. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, okay. Okay.
But yeah, so worked for him for a while and then just doing a lot of my IT project and landed some projects. Luckily, I landed some project with Gordon Ramsay Group.
Wow.
And just so get to learn from his staff, and for a while I really understand the front of house, and then now I understand the back of house,
Yeah.
and then I understand the finance and the IT of everything from his hospitality standpoint, and then was able to raise money from families and friends, and then told my parents that I really need the money investment on this time, and they I believe that they have to sell a lot of things, including the house, to give me, at that time, $200,000 in investment.
Wow.
Which I still don't count as my money. It's still their money. So
Yeah.
I always tell them that that's your money, that's your investment, whatever that it grows to, it goes back to them. So it was from them, and then I raised the other $200,000 from friends and family. Opened Soup Noodle Bar in 2014, and at that time I was the very first employee. Front house, back of house, manager, you name it. I just ran it all. And then along the way took on a few partners, but other than that, now looking back, we're approaching 1,200 employees today.
Yeah, that's incredible.
The rest is kind of history.
No, that really is not necessarily rags to riches. I mean, that was an interesting spin.
It's from an immigrant story, yeah.
It is. Yeah, but it's that's what people come for, is like coming to
equal opportunity.
Yeah, coming to the West, and I mean that's incredible because it's only been 14 years.
12 years.
12 years.
But the restaurant group, as key concept, when I first opened a restaurant, I did not think that we're going to be a restaurant group or anything.
Yeah.
So not until 2017 is when we decided that we need to do something, and so 2018 was like the first year of key concepts. So if you really calculate, we've been around for about 8 years.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, like, what is day-to-day life for you now? I mean, because if people know, like, working in a kitchen, I mean, it's just like 100-hour week. Like, I've done my own experience, like 100-hour weeks and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so it used to be like that. I mean, when I first opened a restaurant, this is like my real schedule, Monday to Sunday. And people ask me too, like, oh yeah, like now that they hear about everything that we do, the first thing they say is, how did you get here? Yeah. What did you have to do, along the way? And my answer is like, I mean, you just have to sacrifice like 24 years of your life. All you have to do is just turn down like parties and weekends and fun times for 20 something years straight. 7 days a week. I mean, that's all I have to do.
Yeah, how do you persist? Because like even with my own experience in food, probably it's been over a decade. Like I burnt out, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think our biggest strength, and I think the thing that helped me the most was because I had no other choice.
Yeah.
So if it's very difficult for you to choose my lifestyle or my sacrifices if you actually had a choice. For me, I just had no other choice. Like, what do I do? Like, if I go back to Vietnam, I would just lose everything. If I don't do this, then everything that I've ever worked for would also lose everything. So, in a sense, the luck here is because I have no other choice. I have no other real way. I have no other backup.
Yeah.
So when you have no other backup, you tend to go really hard in on something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the biggest thing for me was, when I came here 16, and the next day I literally get a job, the next day.
Yeah.
At a local pho restaurant.
Oh my goodness.
And from there, it has been nonstop.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever taken like a real day off. If I can choose, I will always choose to go to work. 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And all of my friends, they probably go to, clubs and raves and birthday parties and all that. Like for me, it's always been a no.
Yeah.
And because of that, one thing is because I have no other choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the do I get burnout? Yes, absolutely. Do I do 100 hours a week when I first started out? Yes.
Yeah.
Over even.
Yeah.
So my day was sometimes, I wake up at like 6, have to go to all of these pickup points because they don't even deliver to our restaurant. Our restaurant is so small.
Oh my goodness.
So I have to pick up, go back to the restaurant at like 9, and then you have to start prepping from 9 to like 11. You open, you work until 10 p.m. You clean up. You don't get out until like midnight.
Yeah.
Right. Get something, eat real quick. And sometimes because the drive to go back to the apartment was long, and sometimes I just sleep at the restaurant. Yeah, and I have a 24-hour fitness membership, and I just go to a shower and just go.
Yeah, I've done all of the
above.
Yeah,
yeah, all of that. And then 7 days a week, and you don't know what's next. And to be honest with you, it's also a lot of luck too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the just the drive, but also like how lucky you are. And I consider myself to be very, very lucky. Because at the very worst moment in any point of that journey until now, there has always been someone there for me. So like right now we have 3 partners. My earliest partner was actually my ex-wife now, but
whose
we
name
still
is
run
Ivy.
yeah. And she runs a company with me, and right now I still call her co-CEO. So we run the company together.
Got it.
We have mutual respects. I think she's one of the best female CEO that I've known.
Yeah.
And I think she can speak the same way, like how we run things. Even now we're not together, like we still have a beautiful daughter together. Her name is Kira. That's why we call it Key Concept.
Yeah.
But, along the way too, we picked up another front of house, partner, and then a back of house partner. And all of them are absolutely amazing during that time.
Yeah.
And in my lowest moment, when I doubt myself, when I don't know what to do next, they're always there. So you have to know that you're lucky, at points when you have friendships and partners like that always with you.
Yeah. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
And then how do you balance like parenting and like, do you know what I mean, with your family, and is that a struggle, or do you it
is a struggle. But to be honest with you, like I said, to have a partner that can really help you with a lot of that, really, really helps. Yeah. And Ivy's just been really an amazing mom, and she's just there all the time. And so most of the educations and schoolings, and she's like a super strict mom.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
Definitely I'm not a strict dad at all, and having her like a really strict mom has been really, really helpful. Yeah. So that's how we balance it. Like she really takes care of the kid really well, and then I'm just
amazing. And running the business.
Yeah, and running all of the support that you can kind of wish for, and then I'm just like on field, always constantly thinking about operation, always constantly thinking about creativity. So like I literally have almost 100 to 200 projects of like R&D constantly. Like I have to do, and working with the chefs and working with the managers, so and marketing team too. Like essentially we have to do a lot of the marketing in-house, and one of those very important things right now, which is also for us, is to switching from normal mom and pop operation going to cloud based, which is the last 10 years, and then to the next 10 years, like how do we adapt AI into all of the layers of all of our businesses. It's going to be one of the most challenging time, but like for me, if I don't level up myself and really understand how to implement all of this in the next few years, I don't think we can achieve what we achieve. I think we only have like 20 something staff right now, and we were able to do more work than we used to have 60 plus people in our headquarter office, and we do less work than we have 20 something people now.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how AI has been helping us.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's amazing. That's like a whole nother topic for
but like
time.
without me, trying to balance all of this and having all of the support, I wouldn't be able to go out there and really think of all of the things that are really pushing our boundaries
Yeah.
and getting us ahead. Otherwise, I think I think right now most hospitality group, a restaurant group, only have about 2 to 3 years to adapt. If they don't in the next 2 to 3 years, I strongly believe that I think almost half of restaurant group or mom and pop restaurant will fall behind.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really fascinating.
It's scary to
Yeah.
think about,
Yeah.
and I think we are also affected. With all of these big groups are already ahead of us because
Yeah.
they have the budget and the know-how and the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I also feel like we're very behind, and so we're adapting fast. Otherwise,
Yeah. Catching up. Yeah.
yeah, we're catching up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Viet was just recently semifinalist for the James Beard Foundation Awards for Best Chef in California, and he used we were the only consideration for Orange County, so putting Orange County on the map.
Yeah. We're excited for that one. Unfortunately, though, they picked Nip Cafe, which is I'm not saying like Nip is not good. Nip is very good. It's just those are the brands that. When you're being considered for James Beard, I believe that the chef themselves has to be the one who's doing the cooking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of our brands are because of grow brands, and so we have system in place. So I usually don't cook at those restaurants. So I feel like it wasn't a fair shot.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I really wish that one day they would consider me for something that I actually be on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you still cook at the?
I don't cook specifically on like the line.
Yeah.
As far as like creating daily things, but we have projects, and I cook at home, and I do a lot of R&D and projects at home.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
And then when it's really super busy, then I'll jump on the line, so I can still do a lot of the actual line work.
Wow.
I just don't do it more often because I'm now very strictly R&D and strictly strategies.
Yeah.
So lots of strategy, lots of R&D, lots of implementations and just more philosophies.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, and for people who will know their brand or people who don't know it, I mean, what do we is there something that you want to say to our viewers and listeners about what to expect?
Yeah. I mean, well, essentially, we are now closing the first kind of chapter, the first phase of our restaurant group, where I think we got really delayed and really battered with COVID. And so it really delayed us about 3 to 4 years. I'm not going to lie. Like that was one of the reasons why that we felt, really upset about. But, maybe opportunity also kind of came from that. But now that we're start to stabilize everything, I do want people to fully understand what the next chapter for us would be. And the next chapter for us would be, focusing strongly on how to use all of the restaurant that we already have and activate it as a hub. As what we have determined in the very first place is that, all of these brands are to serve very specifically Orange County, very specifically Little Saigon, or Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
But we want to also now take all of our knowledge, things that we have created, have iterations, have versions, that we believe that will take on the national platform. And as you can see, this year we have been now start to being recognized on the national level. And from there, I strongly believe that once we lock down our strategy for a national, you're going to see a lot more things from us that, very surprising. And we believe that this in generation of moving from just normal cloud-based to AI is going to help us with accelerate all of this, idea that we have on a national scale and even international scale.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear a couple of things from us that are very exciting. And restaurant is not the only revenue or avenue that or vertical that we're focusing on.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many other, verticals that we believe the hospitality can kind of offer.
Okay, but still within hospitality.
Within hospitality, like I said, how many times do you think that you interact with restaurants in a week? Maybe 5 to 10%.
Yeah.
How many times do you open your fridge or your pantry every day? So consumer packaged goods would be another
amazing
vertical that you can get in. Private clubs. or even like sport clubs or even wellness clubs
Oh,
or things like
yeah.
that. Those are all, if people really don't think about it, but it's all hospitality.
Yeah.
And then go into what stops us from really considering boutiques, hotels in the futures, or things like as far as we're thinking really far out, like what if we create a whole entire experience that's like multi-sensory, multi-layer,
Wow,
that is
amazing.
hospitality.
So not just restaurants, but like lifestyle brand. Yeah. That's
Restaurant is
amazing.
just one of it, right? But then if you really think about it, like bigger hospitality groups, eventually you go to like really big casinos or like big hotel or Four Seasons
Yeah.
or Marriott nowadays. Like, they don't just have these amazing hotels or like even malls, like mega malls like
Yeah.
South Coast Plaza or Irvine Spectrum. Now they know Gen Zs and Gen A, they don't have a third space.
Yeah, that's
so what do they
amazing.
do next?
Yeah, I wish we had like a whole nother hour. I could do. We could just dive really deep into it. But that's all
like
the,
hospitality for us is just
Yeah.
a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
And restaurant
totally.
is literally about 5% of what we're producing.
Oh, okay.
And this is just like the first phase.
That's just the tip of the
The
iceberg.
tip of the iceberg. And so I think national, international, and there's a whole host of other hospitality solution.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is, for our next time, a lot of topics. Everyone, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here today. We'll see you here next time on Walk-ins Welcome. Make sure to follow us on TikTok at The Ivy Eats and on Instagram and YouTube at Ivy Eats. See you next time.